All right, everybody. How about let time slip up on me? I was running around getting all my fishing stuff together. John and Jessica, they're staying down at Lake Okeechobee. Had some lightning hit, messed up their internet. I think Ryan Willis is going to come on with us here in a little bit. Y'all let me know if you can hear me loud and clear, please. We'll get this thing started. It's good to be back. Good to be back on here. Man, I'm looking forward to answering some questions and, shooting the bull with everybody. I hope y'all can hear me fine. I see some people tuned in on YouTube. But like I said, I think Ryan Willis is going to join us here in a little bit. John, they lost internet, had some lightning. It's been storming down there at Lake Okeechobee where John, y'all been keeping up with him. And they've been catching some brim and some Oscars and all kinds of crazy fish. So they pull like a freight train. So I'm sure he'll be talking about that. But hopefully you guys can hear me. Sometimes my internet, we've had a lot of storms, a lot of rain. The internet's been knocked out here some. I lost power for a few hours the other day. So, but Eden and Mr. Paul, Scott Seals, Jamie Hall. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Y'all gonna have to help me out and kind of keep this show rolling, asking questions. Even if you know something, even if you already know the answer, you can always ask it because there's a lot of people that may want to know and don't know how to ask the question about what we do, how we catch crappie. And I've been getting a lot of questions about settings. I put that video out where Cassie caught that fish several weeks ago, and they want to know the settings. It's on my screen, and I try to share it with everybody. So I see Corey Newby. He's a Panama City watching us. Hey, Corey, how you doing, buddy? Scott Seal said Oscar's the whitest meat you'll ever see. John said they ate good. They ate, and they've been catching a lot of fish. Sounds like it's environment friendly, environment rich. Environmentally just target area, down in Okeechobee. So they're bedding everywhere. You'll probably catch bluegill in the area, Oscars. He starts with an S. Seameans. I don't know how he pronounced that. He's told me several times, and I have no idea. So what those things are called. They look like some striped fish. But I appreciate all y'all. Last week I was down in Destin and was out enjoying myself on vacation, and I knew I wasn't going to have time to jump on the show. And, so heck, we decided just to put it off a week and come on in here. That's right, Corey. I'm ready, man. It's been crazy. All the rain we've had has messed up all my fishing. Normally I usually start about Memorial Day, hitting the river. The river's finally going down. I got a work trip tomorrow with a fella from Dunn Construction, and hopefully we'll get it done. The river looks like it's normal. The conditions look like, we're going to be able to catch some fish. I hope we do. I see Corey. Corey's been catching a lot of fish. But it is getting summertime. Hopefully all this rain's going to get out of here and these fish are going to get more stable, get in the areas they're supposed to be in, and we can start catching some fish. My memory's been popping up, right and left on my Facebook where I've caught a lot of fish at Miller's Ferry and Demopolis, and they keep popping up, and I'm like, man, the water's got to go down. But, got to have the conditions right, and I don't like to run trips personally unless I know the conditions are right because I want everything to be optimal when we go. So, but you're welcome, Todd. Todd said, I appreciate the live scope settings the other day. You're welcome, man. Hopefully that tuned the live scope in. I'll kind of go over generally the way I set them up. Let's see if I can remember all this. I know the noise rejects off. I know the ghost rejects off. I know the color limit's off. The color gain's on about 85 or 90. My focus is on 145. That's about halfway. I think it goes to 300. So I'll run the focus about halfway. My gain, it depends on where I am. My regular gain, I'm running 65 to 68. I run it pretty hot. Let me think what else. My install depth, I run it on 0.00. I don't run it on 1 foot. I want it to pick that jig up as soon as it splashes. As soon as that jig splashes, I want it to pick it up. You see my finger coming the screen? If it has to wait a foot, if I can get that thing, pick it up at 0.0, the install depth, that thing, as soon as it hits the water, just like my finger coming through the screen, that's what you want. So, installs up 0.0, focus 145, noise reject off, ghost reject off, color limit off, color gain on 85 or 90, install, like I said, install depth 0, that's right, and the focus. I'm trying to remember all the settings I was going through my head. If you can't remember those, or if I talk too fast, hey, I'll try to post them again. Every body of water is different. Good thing is those are kind of basic settings, but it'll kind of get you in the ballpark. Then you can adjust it from there. You want to be able to see your line, but with the noise reject off, and just like John and the stuff, there's no delay in it. The clearer you try to get that picture, the more delay. You want to be able to see that jig. That fish here, when that fish moves on that jig, you want to see it instant. That way to slow down, speed up. He's on his tail, keep going. If he goes down, follow him down to the bottom. When he's on the bottom, try to keep it right here on his nose. I pin a lot of fish on the bottom, guys, and now what that fish does, that fish will kind of go down the bottom. We're going to say the bottom of the screen. I'm going to take my jig and pin him there. I'm going to keep it right here. So when he does his upward, he sees it. A lot of times you can make those fish bite. Pin him on the bottom. It doesn't hurt. Hey, he's swimming on the bottom, pin him down there. Keep it above him. Sometimes it pisses him off enough to bite. But let's see what Todd said. The 32 seemed a lot easier for me to set right. The 34 seems more touchy. Could be me, though. No, the 34 is more – it's more focused. It's got an 18-degree cone, Todd, instead of a 20. That 2 degrees is a big deal. It took me a while when I swapped from the 32 to the 34. It was a big – I've been with people, and I didn't realize it is a lot. But the good thing is when the fish is bright, the jig's bright, you can everything's lined up. So once you get used to boat control, Todd, and everything being hot, you're going to be lined up on that fish. You got a lot better chance of catching it. If he's being a butt, and you don't want to move. But the 34, to me, I like it. I like to run it a lot. I've gotten used to it now. I've got plenty of hours behind it. But let's see. Bill Lawley saying these afternoon thunderstorms are killing me. Yeah, you're exactly right, man. I think we're going to get some rain Saturday, but I'm looking at the level on the Demopolis. Hopefully it's good. I want it to be good. Let's see. Jamie is asking a good question. Jamie's going to help me keep the show going instead of me sound like I'm repeating myself and talking. With the swift water flow of the rivers now, where will you focus your search for fish? I struggle to find anything I could fish in a river if it was trolling. Look, those fish in that river, Jamie, they're going to be behind root balls, and they're going to be so tight. You imagine a root ball of a tree. They're going to be so tight behind that thing that you can't hardly get them to move. So your best bet is to go in deeper creeks with channels that have some structure. Those fish should be pushed in there. The river fishing, man, those fish have been pushed so much that I guarantee you they have backed up and went in these creeks everywhere. Even on some of these main big lakes, they pushed up. But the good news is we've had a lot of oxygen in the water. We've had a lot of bugs, a lot of trash, a lot of things. So it's enriched the water a little bit. So hopefully we're going to get a good bite this summer. I'm hoping. Conditions are pointing good for me tomorrow. But yeah, I think kind of the river's out of play to me. As far as here comes Ryan. Ryan's going to help us, come on here, Ryan.
Howdy, howdy.
There you go. Come on here, buddy. Yeah, we were talking about how the rivers have gotten so swift. It's pushed a lot of fish in these creeks because we had so much water. I mean, God. Even I'm sure on the lakes that you fish, Mitchell and Martin and all that stuff. Logan Martin. It's moved some fish around because all this water. That's a good point too. You can see the jig further with a 34 than a 32. I agree with you, Bill. A lot of guys like the 32 because they could separate the fish from the bottom. They say they could see, when that fish was sitting there, kind of popping up from the bottom, they could distinguish them. Like my pen here. Hopefully, we'll get Ryan back. I think he was running around trying to get in a hurry and trying to get on here and help. But the 34, it's hey, Patrick Garner tuned in from Panama City, my good old friend. I'm sure he's busy this time of year. Here comes Ryan again.
Man, guys, I'm sorry. My mother-in-law's air conditioner went out, so I was trying to get a window unit put in for her.
There you go. Hey, I know some air conditioning guys.
So anyway, what was your question, Shane?
We were just talking about how much the water's moving in some of these rivers, pushing these fish in these creeks because there's been so much water. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely been blowed out. But on the flip side of that, it's kept these water temperatures, cooler.
I think you're correct. We got 2 more. I think we're getting 2 to 3 more weeks of fishing as far as you're concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, on Logan and Mitchell, you've got a chance. Even I was talking to Eric, and he was like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna get 2 more weeks down here at Martin before I go to Grenada because of the water temperature."
That's exactly right. So last time I was on the water was Tuesday, and it was still 76 to 78. Normally this time of year, it's already up in the low 80s.
Oh yeah, 82.
So,
80. You're 100% right.
Normally I shut down in the middle of June, and it looks like I'm going to go all the way to probably that last weekend in June this year. So it's definitely keeping the water temps back.
Yeah, it has. I mean, that water is cooler. Now, we're supposed to get a heat index of 100 tomorrow. That's going to help. That's going to warm it up a little bit.
So I've only got, I think, 5 or 6 more trips left, and I'm going to shut it down anyway just because I'm going to Canada. So.
Right. I remember you saying you was going up there fishing. So what's Bill saying? How far are you running out your screen? When I'm searching, I'll run it out there a good ways, Bill. I'll run it out there, 75, 100 sometimes looking for structure that I know is already there, especially. If I know I'm supposed to see a stump, I'm looking for a little blip. But when I'm fishing, I'm 45, and I keep it on 45 because I know halfway of that screen, is 22, and I know where my casting is. That's because sometimes I forget and bump into 55, and I cast it, I'll be short. I was that gummit, what happened? And then I didn't realize I sucked it in. What do you fish your distance at fishing wise, Ryan?
Usually 30 to 40. I don't come any closer than that. But like you said, 50, 60, 70 when I'm looking for something that I know is there, just to, spot it further out and kind of ease up to it. But usually I like to be about the 30-foot mark before I ever start casting.
Right. Yeah, that's me too. I try to get not too close to them and start picking. It depends on, the person you're with, if they're familiar with live scope or not. You try to get as much as they can see, try to zoom it in.
Usually I'll keep it on about 40, and that gives them about 10 foot to play with, and try to keep the fish 25 to 30.
Right. Keep them away from the boat where they don't hear the boat. It's slapping or the sun's behind you or anything like that. So.
Yep. You're
right. That's kind of me too. People don't realize the setup and the boat control is so much of the game we play now. I mean, a guy commented on that video I made. He said, "Man, I'm having trouble staying on the fish," and then it looked like you were locked in like a missile. I said, "You don't realize, man, I don't make that cast till my boat is stopped. If it's still pushing, I hit those brakes and the power brakes in the back. I stop my boat, then I'll make a cast. Especially somebody else they're casting. I want them to, I want the boat stopped. I don't want it moving around or still pushing, because then that changes. Then I got to feather my trolling motor to try to find it. I want to be looking dead at it, kind of like shooting a gun, Ryan. I mean, I want to be rested and breathing. I don't want to be moving around and adjusting. I mean, I want to put it on something."
A funny story. I was doing some filming the other day, and the guy I had in the boat was just amazed. And, a lot of times I'm not looking to where I'm casting. I know where I need to cast by where my foot is on that trolling motor, at what angle my foot is, and I'm watching that screen, and I hardly ever even look off that screen to see where I'm casting at. I just, you do it enough, and it just gets ingrained in your brain.
Well, you know where your foot position is. 1 o'clock, 2. I mean, you do really do. I mean, I don't even look up either. I'm just,
Yep.
but that's just a lot of time on the water, guys. I mean, it's coming. The more time you spend on the water, it's coming. I mean, that comes with time on the water. Don't get frustrated. For sure. To me, it is. So when did you run your last trip? I mean, you just ran one other day, right?
Yeah, the 28th. Normally I stop around the 15th, but I kind of seen where this water temp thing was going, so I kind of extended it out. But the 28th is going to be my last trip regardless.
Yeah.
So I'm full bore. I got the next 3 days, then Wednesday and Thursday next week, then the following week, and that'll be the end of it.
Gotcha. I'm just now starting my stuff. That's what I was saying before you come on. The water's finally stabilizing where I can actually go, down Demopolis and stuff. I like it when it gets hot. I mean, I got to dig my umbrella out now. I've got a trip for work tomorrow. I got a guy from Dunn Construction going, and we're going to go out and try to. It points like we're going to have a good, as far as the water condition, the height. So hopefully the fish will kind of calm down.
And the good thing is for me, it's just really been getting good in the last couple of weeks. Someone was picking on me here a while back about, sometimes my expectations are too high. I think if we don't limit out, it's a bad trip. But, this spring, honestly, 40, 50 fish has been a really good day. But the last 2 weeks, it's been, 60, 70, 80. It's been kind of tough.
If you catch, to me, if you catch 40 in a summertime bite, man, that is terrific. 30 is really good, but you catch 40, heck, that's all. Mark Brown said he ordered his brakes today. Finally ordered my brakes. They shipped out today. Can't wait to try them out. Thanks for the discount code. You're welcome, man. Like I said, hey, once you start using them, they sent me some upgraded motors, and man, I tightened all my bushings, and it's all quiet again like it's supposed to be. It was rattling, moving, everything's so loose on it.
One of these days, I'm going to spend the money and move up with the big boys and get some. I haven't got any yet.
Oh, yeah. Hey, once you get them, you'll enjoy them because, just being able to stop.
I spent my money here in the past few weeks. I had my console unit go out, and I had to get that replaced. And I ordered a trolling motor a couple weeks ago. So more money's going out than's coming in.
Daryl Moore, tuning in from Texas. Appreciate you, Daryl.
Yeah. But I can't complain. I mean, I've had that trolling motor for 5 years, and I've got my hours out of it for sure.
Eric Howard's baby's here and healthy. Good deal. Thank you, Scott. Derek Howard they had their baby today. So
Scott, tell them congrats.
Yeah, man. We'll track him down. I'm sure we'll see him posted. So let's see. Trying to make sure I didn't miss no questions. Ashton's still waiting on his boat to get fixed. He tunes in. He's been boat. Yeah, I knew he said his boat was acting up for the wife's trip. I know how that is, man. That ain't. Ooh, you start itching wanting to go, especially. But like he said, Tom Digby's been blowed out since he's been wanting to go, so he ain't missed anything. I know. I seen where Dippy and him was putting the tournament off down there because of the water, When the water temperature gets above 80 in the lake, it's better to focus on rivers to keep with cool water temperatures. Yeah, it depends on what lake, Paul. Like, I talked to Neil today, and Neil said Talcon just got today where it normally was 2.5 weeks ago earlier last year. He said, I found some big fish where him and I caught some. He said, hey, it's, that's Lake Talcon. He said they were in the areas, but it's taking them, I guess I think they're 2 weeks behind. I mean, from Florida all the way to East,
They are. We've got to remember, too, a lot of people get hung up with that temperature. But you're looking at surface temperature. You're not looking, 10, 15 foot down.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's obviously a lot cooler down there, but I'm still catching fish in 10 foot of water and shallower.
Yeah. That's what's coming for me tomorrow, I hope. I hope we get in there and they're piled in there and whooping on it, ready to eat. The blackfish, they'll kind of slow down this time of year, but then, heck, the whitefish, now you're starting to see more and more whitefish up in your areas, where you're fishing. I caught some the other day after I talked to you, down there at Mitchell, after I spoke with you. caught some whitefish. I was kind of shocked, you know. Seemed like they're showing up more and more.
Yeah, we caught several whitefish down there at Mitchell the other day in a brush pile that was just loaded with black crappie. I mean, you usually don't do that. Usually they kind of stay separated, different habitats. They stay in different areas usually, and whitefish obviously don't school up as much as black. But I've been catching a lot more down there than I normally do.
Yeah, it was crazy. I probably caught 10. There were some of them were smaller, when I went back
Yeah.
to the creek, but still, they were there.
And then about 2 weeks ago, we caught a big hybrid down there, and I think that's the first hybrid I've ever, had in my boat on Mitchell. So,
yeah, I hadn't seen many. Seemed like I seen one. Besides that one, I don't even know who caught it. But it's crazy how that's what Jamie was saying. They're really Martin's starting to show some whitefish too. The coast of change. It's kind of odd, but hey, I guess it's it's that cycle coming out. So before I forget, I got to thank. My friend Tim and Jennifer. I go to Piggly Wiggly all the time, guys. I buy more groceries than I really want to admit, but Piggly Wiggly and Ace Hardware in McCalla, and Piggly Wiggly and Ace Hardware in Hueytown, they have come on board and sponsored us. You'll be seeing more videos of me cooking and going to the store, and I'm gonna start sharing what I cook, the fish in, the breading, and everything I do. I'm fixing to go in there and make some video for them guys. But I thank Piggly Wiggly and Ace Hardware, McCalla and Hueytown. They came on board, and I shop there all the time. And it was funny. We got to talking. He was like, "Hey man, I think we need to talk," and we did. You ate that fish we cooked. I've been fooling with fish, and I got a little mixture I'll do. It's just something different, and I buy all of it at the pig. So. But I wanted to thank them. So. Let's see. What's Chad saying? He said I had a hard time getting big fish to bite on Y Saturday. Caught a ton of eaters. Yeah, they get picky too, and there's plenty of eaters up there. Lord. At Weiss, I know that.
Now, did you catch very many fish when you went up there?
I did, but a bunch of 8-inchers. Golly, there's a ton of them now. Man, when I went, I didn't go out there but one day. Neil and I went out there, and it was tri-tunes, and it was Memorial Weekend. That's what you need to expect, and it was a bunch of little turds. But hey, the population was there, so.
Bunch of little turds is better than nothing.
Exactly. Oh, DeAndre tuned in. DeAndre catches a lot of fish down there Alabama River. He fishes a lot down there around Swift Creek and that upper end of the Alabama River. I came over it the other day. I had to go to Troy to visit a customer, and it was up. So hopefully it's yeah. He said it's on fire. I'll guarantee you it ought to be back. They say it's a summertime place down there.
So is the river down there? Is it still up a good bit?
It was when I came over Monday. Now it may be fine now. It was up pretty good when I came over it Monday. But I could just tell it was up. It wasn't like Demopolis shot up 5 or 6 feet. I don't know how much, but that's a great question, Scott. It's getting close to downsizing time, and it really is. I always have a rod with a smaller jig on it. I'm sure Ryan does too. Always got a 30-second tied on a rod.
I'll fish as long as I can get away with it. Current, wind and everything plays into that. But as long as I can get away with it, I'll throw a 30-second year round.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love to throw a 30-second, walk it down to them, and just keep it in their face. But I mean, I keep one with a split shot, and I keep one tied on, and I keep all of them tied on. I mean, I try like he said. If you could throw a 30-second and keep it in their face, it'll do it. But it's getting that time of year. I have to do it a lot in Florida, a lot. And I think it's moving so slow, it's in their wheelhouse, or they think it's moving so slow, it's like, heck, I can put a lot of effort out of them and get it, without having to chase it. So.
Yeah. Down there at Mitchell, it was Monday I was on Mitchell. Yeah. All the bigger fish we caught came off a 30-second jig. And the smaller fish, they would tear a minnow up. But the bigger fish they wouldn't touch a minnow. It was all caught on a jig.
Right. Yeah. DeAndre's sharing some tips for y'all people. I find them on the main river still in current breaks on structure. There you go. Everybody wants to fish the Alabama River there. Buddy of mine's getting some power breaks put on down there with Tumpka Marine. Michael Sands, he messaged me. He said, I've never caught a white crappie. And I was like, man, you go to Swift Creek, you're going to be right there at it. Just run right over there and get in the creek channel and go find you some. So, he said he's never caught one of him being in Florida. So I meant to play the video. I got fired up and forgot to play the video of all our other sponsors. I was like, that gummit, I was in a hurry to get on here. We always share them. I appreciate all our sponsors. You can see most of them behind me right here. Rayco and Gerber Collision's not on here, but I appreciate Rick and Jeff and all them, Richard and Jeff and all them people at Gerber Collision there. You mess your car up and it's rain, hey, tear it to them and get them fixed. They'll fix it back right and you won't have to worry about it. What size line do y'all use this time of year, Phil? What size line you still using?
Man, 6 or 8. You know, slip corking, I use 8. If I'm jig fishing or something, I stay with 6 pretty much year round.
Me too. I use 6-pound braid a lot, and then I've got to where I started tying some 4-pound line on there when I go to Florida just to cast further. I got broke off the other day at Mitchell. Big fish down there by the dam. I'm talking about a big and come out of the tree and snap me. I was like, oh. Then I was like, what happened? I forgot I had 4-pound line on that rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
You know, 4 pound, you know, is plenty. You know, use a net and, you know, don't be stupid like me and try to boat flip them all the time. But use a net and 4 pound. 4 pound is plenty.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know they're gonna do it. And you need to retie often. That fish eats that bait. Hey, retie. Yeah. You don't want to lose a big fish. I mean, for sure, because that's what happens. That's what I like about that braid. I'm just throwing. I don't have to worry about it unless it just wears in the the eye. So.
Man, I just can't get on that braid thing, man. I've never been able to.
It is really, like John and I was saying on the show, we're so used to it, the wrapping around the rod doesn't bother me. But when you first get used to it, it wraps around that eye like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And I need to keep more fluorocarbon and mono on rods for people I carry fishing because that's what they're used to. And it's a lot more forgiving, you know. To me, the braid, you know, it really is aggravating, but it's nice when you lay in them fish because you ain't got to worry about it. You know, you can just haul them in. But Scott said when to go to braid to mono to fluoro. Man, Scott, I just say use line you want to. I mean, I've used K9 fluoro. I've used Suffix. K9 fluoro is pretty good, but like you was talking about Smith Lake, it's clear. You know, you may want to tie a leader or you may want to go straight clear fluoro up there because that is abnormally clear. It's like a swimming pool. I mean, yep. It is. You know, Martin's the same way. Eric uses fluorescent K9 down there at Martin, and you see what he does regular. So, I don't know. I think you find the fish. There's Logan. Logan fishes a lot. Logan guides up there on Smith, and they've been catching a lot of fish. And he'll throw 4-pound clear up there a ton. And he fishes enough up there to know. Thank goodness I'm going to be fishing stain water. I can pretty much throw a worn winch cable out there because it's going to be muddy where I'm going. So
nope.
I don't have to worry about that. And I hope they're biting. The conditions are pointing that way. People don't understand. When you go to these river systems, they will humble your butt fast. But if the conditions, if you know the water level and you know the water temperature and you know the areas, and it spells catching fish. It does every year and stays that way. But you got to have the water level certain. To me, at the number 77, it's seldom down. If it's 75, 77, I'm fine. I'm gonna catch some fish. The amount, don't know. But if it shoots up to 80, those fish get scattered. Waste of my time. If I know it's 77, I can send Ryan down there blind with a customer of his, and I promise you he's going to catch fish. I'm going to put him right dead in there. So, you know, that's the good thing about it, knowing the conditions are right.
You know, I started going down there, 3 or 4 years ago, just playing, you know, just somewhere to go every once in a while. And I mean, even with me going down there blind back then, you know, I've always been able to catch some fish. So
yeah, there's a lot of fish there. It would, I think I caught 178 back in 2017, Memorial Day on a Saturday. And man, it was unreal. Just the amount of fish, it was just perfect conditions. And that was way before scope for me, but there's a lot of fish down there. A lot of
Yeah,
it messes
I
people. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say I kind of learned the hard way too about getting back in some of those creeks.
Oh yeah, they do. You got to know which ones. Like I said, 77 is a really good number because you're going a lot of back of those creeks. You don't have to worry about the bars when it comes by. Sucking all the water out of the mouth.
The first time I ever went down there, I went down there blind, and a lot of it was just because you telling me about it, and some other people. And I went down there and put in Demopolis. I really had no idea,
Right.
where to go or anything like that. But first time I come around the corner and seen one of those barges, that was a life experience.
You're like, whoa, three wide. You're like, what? Yeah. I grew up seeing them, and you're right. You see those barges, you're like, whoa.
They're not going to move for you.
Oh no, they're making those turns, son. You better make your move.
Yeah.
That's 100% correct. There's a lot of barges that go down there hauling coal and gas and everything to Mobile. So you will run into that. Yeah, I was looking at not using the net. Yeah, Chad saying not using it. Those bigger fish, man, you start boat flipping them, and it's gonna cost you sooner or later. I mean, you got a net. These outlaw nets we use now, they're light. They don't weigh nothing. You can stick them in the water. Yeah, some of those creeks, like he's saying, in Portland, they need to revamp some of those Portland boat ramps because they get so silted in and stuff from all this, and they really do. They dug a lot of that out at Miller's Ferry, but you're gonna deal with that silt, man. I mean, I do fish up the Tom Bigby. I'm actually going there tomorrow, Philip. I got some places there that I fish up the Tom Bigby a little ways when the water's right. I hope I never make it down that far, but if I do, I'm gonna end up going in some of those creeks. Especially if I don't have if we don't have our limit by the time we get down there, so we'll see. So I'm hoping we do, but we're gonna give them hell first thing in the morning. So I hadn't been down there in several weeks. Now, we caught 40 last time we was down there, but I had to work my tail off. So yep, let's see. Ryan, what's them crappie doing on Logan? Haven't been over there in a while.
Logan is really, really, really good right now. If you can find him, you're going to catch him.
There you go. There's the answer.
Your standard places, but any kind of structure between 8-10 foot of water and 15-16, I mean, they're going to bite. It's that perfect time of year just to go out and catch a boatload. Jigs, minnows, it really don't matter. Usually when I'm running trips down there, we'll pull up to a pile, and depending on who I got with me, we'll throw jigs at a school of fish and until they quit biting, then we'll start throwing minnows at them and get 8 or 10 off a pile and move on to the next one.
Oh yeah, if you got as many places as you, that's like me when I go to Demopolis, I'm gonna fish 10, 15 minutes. If it ain't, hey, I'm gonna jump around, and I'll come through those spots because they will load back up.
I try not to fish, the same spot a couple days in a row. I've got probably 200 brush piles on Logan I've put in there myself. So,
right.
I mean, I'm not short on places to fish, but.
No, that's what it takes too. Time on the water, getting those places sunk, like you said, or, finding brush piles. Everybody's putting stuff out.
And usually, 99% of the time I put in at Clear Creek on the south end, but
right.
I may run up to Chalk Lock and fish that area one day. Then the next day I'm, more towards the middle. Then, the next day I may stay around Clear Creek. It just kind of depends.
Right. Yeah.
And if it's tough, I may go from one end to the other.
I've been there, done that. I'm on my, and that's me, man. My mentality, I'm going to hit all my stuff that I can, especially when it's tough because I want them to catch some fish. So, and when I tell them we ran all my stuff and that's all I can do, they're satisfied. They're like, hey, I get it. We end up with 35 fish and we ran all that stuff. They're like, hey, you worked your tail off. We've tried to,
Yeah.
It is what it is at that point. So, mean, everybody wants to go light them up in the first couple tops. And that ain't the way it happens.
Well, and, even though the bite's really good right now, the traffic is increased dramatically over the past couple of weeks. So even on the weekdays this time of year, you got kids out of school, you want to be off the water by 11 o'clock.
Oh,
Otherwise you're going to.
They're jumping in the sea-doos and they're running. They're having their fun. You're right. I don't have to worry about that a lot in Demopolis because there's little alligators and a lot of snakes and pigs, and there ain't too much recreation. They will park at a sandbar, but there's not a lot of recreation there. These lakes, hey, we went to Gunnersville a couple of weeks ago and Memorial Weekend, and it was there were some boats.
Yeah. And I've even noticed, Lake Mitchell. I haven't been around here and fishing these lakes as long as a lot of people. I've only, been here 13 years, but last year I noticed a big increase in traffic on Lake Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why.
There across the lake, and it's when I spoke with you that day, buddy. Woo! There were some boats down there, son.
And I think a lot of it is because it's not like the number of houses have drastically went up. I think a lot of it is people have started to figure out that there is less traffic there. So it's kind of, they're coming from other places and going there. Yeah,
because it's crazy. You go way back in those creeks, you're like, what are y'all doing back here skiing? You got to hold her lake, dadgum,
But Mitchell too is a lot smaller than some of them other lakes too. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. It does fish small. There's not much to it, But I was back there and the guy was skiing, and I was like, man, you got the whole. Unless you're teaching a kid or something, you got the whole dang lake out there. What are you doing?
Yeah, they're probably doing the same thing we are, trying to avoid everybody else.
Yeah, probably so. But like I said, you can't get mad at them. They're trying to enjoy themselves on the water too. They make them boat notes all winter while we're fishing. We get to use our stuff, or hunting. We get to use our stuff, and then when the summer gets here, they get 3 months to just tear it up. And hey, don't blame them. I like winter time, but I really do. This is getting to my favorite time of year, summertime. It really is. It's hot, but you can catch a lot of fish. You might as well take your cooler, go ahead and throw some ice in it, and get ready to start slinging them in there because they're not going to live long in that water. So that's the best thing to do. Fill that thing on up. All you do is transfer them to somebody else's cooler or clean them. A lot of people like to clean them after they've been on. I like to clean them after they've been on ice a little while. Because the summer, they're so mushy. If you start trying to whittle through them, I like to clean them when they've been on ice for a little while. So I don't know how you are, Ryan, but I know I do.
Well, guiding is a little bit different. I clean them on tailgate boat ramp.
Right, yeah, but you got to get them. That's right.
Yeah, but for my personal use, I like to keep them on ice for 24 hours.
Exactly. They get firmed up. You can blow through them a lot easier. I had to clean my cooler out a while ago. I went to Destin, carry the boat, and I threw all my stuff out of it because I didn't want to lose it. Now I'm like panicking, making sure I got all my stuff back in it to go fishing.
Yeah. Did you fish it all down there, or are you just hanging out?
I didn't do them. Ride around, drink beer, and goof off. It was fun. A lot of boats down there. We didn't. Man, they had an outgoing tide the whole weekend, and I was actually going to look at some stuff, but man, I didn't do it. I didn't. I just went out there and had some fun. Hit a reset button, hung out with my friends. It was fun. It was
I've had my boat down there a couple of times in the bay, man, and I've had a blast.
Oh yeah. You can catch them. They catch plenty of reds and all kinds of stuff around there. But my friend Josh Calhoun, he runs a guide service, inshore guide service right there in Destin. They've been catching amberjack on topwater.
Wow.
These big poppers, golly, that's crazy. I invited a lot of people to follow his channel. He's trying to get me to go down there and catch one of the Goliath groupers and get in the water with it. So he's about got me talked into it. So that's gonna be interesting pulling one of them up off the bottom. Because I hear they're like a dang refrigerator. I mean, a dang Volkswagen when you lock into them.
Yeah, those things get up a lot shallower than you think they would.
Oh yeah, them things are big. He's threatening to do it, so he's probably gonna talk me into it one of these times, for sure. let's see, man. Look, we've talked all kinds of stuff. Most everybody's set up. You know, I'm still throwing plastic a good bit. I will switch to hair jigs and slow it down a little bit sometimes. But if I can get away with plastic, I'm going to throw plastic this time of year as much as I can. A little 30-second, I will throw a little hair jig on it. And it is aggravating. It is slow, but you can catch a lot of fish on it.
You know, I've really noticed myself. I've almost went, 90% hair jigs. And I will still throw a plastic, especially if I'm, shooting docks, because the plastic skips so much better than what a hair jig will.
Yeah.
But I'm almost went exclusively hair jigs now.
I believe it. I mean, like I said, you get one you got confidence in, like that little gray ghost. I mean, they'll eat it. I mean,
yep.
I'll throw a black and chartreuse tomorrow. I got plenty of them, some weedless ones that Shane poured for me. And they'll eat it.
Yeah, we was talking about Derek Howard a few minutes ago. He makes a little gray ghost for me. He calls it the Ryan Special. I think I order so many of them, but that gray ghost and that cold candy that Jason Domain makes, man, that's been a money maker for me.
Well, you get confidence in that color. I mean, that's just it. I mean, I throw a lot of green in that river down there, a lot of John Deere green and yellow and black and chartreuse. They really like that stuff in the summer. I don't know what it is about it, but they really hone in on it.
I tell you what, Jason makes I think he calls it a frost.
Yes, I've seen it.
That is a fish killer on the Coosa too.
Oh yeah, well that's good. That's good stuff. I mean, everybody sees your pictures and know, hey, that's what you're using. That's what Logan's saying. Hair jig 100% right now. Delta jig. There you go.
Yep.
He's doing the same thing. So he's doing the same thing. Delta makes good hair jigs. Jason does. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there making good hair jigs, but you get you one that's got a little clear. I mean, got a little green in it and got you a little shag color in it. I mean, yeah, that's what DeAndre's saying right there. You can go anywhere with that frost. I guess that's made by Jason.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think they'll turn that thing down anywhere. So, good thing about it, when you get into the fish, you ain't got to worry about, it's starting to come off or pull it down.
I was talking to Jason a few days ago, and he's supposed to be sending me a couple samples, and Jason, forgive me if I screw this up, but I think he's got a color that's actually called Coosa Killer, and he's supposed to be sending me a few of them.
I got a ton of Jason's jigs in my box. Matter of fact, I need to dig down tomorrow. I got a big box that Neil gave me. It's huge, and I got stuff down in the box. I need to start digging all that out. I mean, like I said, heck, I've got tons of them down in there.
But Jason makes a quality jig. He's come a long way in a short amount of time, and he works his butt off.
Oh yeah.
And he makes a quality jig.
Let's see what Greg's saying here. I got a lake here in Georgia that has schools of fish on timber, but they're always small fish. Where do fish set up during the summer months? Greg, there's going to be some big fish on that timber. You just got to figure out if it's in a turn, if it's in a point. You're going to find that, and then you'll know. It could be a bush on top of a timber. There's going to be a certain timber that them bigger fish are going to be on.
Hey, and a lot of times too, I mean, and you may catch 30 of them small fish out of a school, but there's going to be big fish there, like you said. They may be off to the side a little bit, or they may be down to the bottom, but they're going to be somewhere close.
I know Lake Seminole's that way, Greg. You go over there and you'll hit a the channel swings next to the bank, and there'll be big fish there. And then you'll catch a bunch of 10 inchers. It just depends on there's some on some. You just got to come across them. And the crazy thing is, we always see those small fish first because they're the easiest ones to find. Everybody sees them. But that's one bad, like Brian was saying, in the winter. In the summer, you're going to wade through a bunch of small ones too. That's everywhere I go. I'll probably catch. If we keep 60 tomorrow, I've caught 125 fish. No kidding. A lot of them I'm chunking back.
But one thing to remember too, crappie tend to school in like size, and I'm not going to say you won't catch some 8 inchers, in a pile of 11, 12-inch fish. But the majority of them fish are probably going to be 11, 12 inches, and it's not going to be as big as them schools of them 8 or 9 inches. But, generally they're going to school in like size.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that down at Talcon. The bigger fish are 3, 4, 5, 6 on a stump instead of 25 or 30. I very rarely I have seen them, get together, but it's just breaking down that water, Greg. I mean, you're going to eventually find that magic little spot, and you're going to remember in your head, hey, in June I went right here, below this island and found those fish, and they should be there again. So,
and somebody told me several years ago, and I just started doing this year, to be honest with you, but I keep a book in my boat.
Right.
And every day I'm on the water temperature, air temperature, whether it's cloudy, whether the sun's out, I like to write the pressure in there. What area of the lake that I'm in. I've got a list of about 9 different things that I try to keep track of. And at the end of the day, I'll go back, was it a good day? How many fish did I catch?
Yeah.
And that gives you something to look back on year after year after year and to bounce it off of. And I just started doing it this year. And I've noticed there's a lot of things that change day after day or week after week.
Oh, yeah.
And I've even gone so far as to put, the waypoints that I fish, the numbers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They, as we get older, our memory starts getting there. I just turned 50, and I guarantee you, I'm feeling a little bit of that mental, because I was looking at some memories pop up on my Facebook, and I was like, where am I at? As far as picture wise, I'm looking.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen one. Greg said anybody use a phone app that has a fishing log. I have not.
No, I have the Navionics app on my phone.
I do too.
And I don't even mark anything on it. I just use it to look like if I'm going to a new area or a new lake, or if I'm thinking about something and I want something to reference, I go look at that app just so I can look at the topo map, kind of break an area down or lake down, but I don't mark anything on it. It's just something for me to reference. All my waypoints are on my unit.
Right. Yeah. And hey, like Ryan said, you need to back that thing up regularly, because if that thing go out or something, you can lose a lot of waypoints.
And I got extremely lucky when my unit went out. I was actually caught in a storm, and my unit was 5 years old, so it ain't like it was brand new or anything. But all I did was turn my unit off just to conserve battery juice is all I was doing. I went to turn it on, it wouldn't come back on. Well, I ended up driving it down to Hummingbird and dropping it off, and they pretty much told me no chance. If the board went out, you've lost everything. And I do back mine up, a couple times a year. So it wasn't like I was going to lose everything. But to my surprise, when they wasn't able to fix my unit, they upgraded it for me, and I had to pay a $750 maintenance fee.
Not bad.
But still saved me $1,500.
Yes.
But all my waypoints were on it, so obviously they were able to save it. So
that's good. That's great advice, because you work hard to put all those waypoints in there, guys, and save stuff, and you don't want to be hunting stuff. I mean, sometimes, like on the river system, you'll get in there and be like, I know there's supposed to be something here, and the river's done washed it away. You got that waypoint, it's gone,
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I know that tree's gone, or stuff like that. But I have to back mine up. I need to update my unit, my front unit, my 8616. I haven't updated it since I've had it, so it's about time to do it.
I don't do mine probably as often as I should, but you hear so many horror stories about people upgrading and getting glitches and stuff. And here's another thing that I learned about upgrading the Garmin's. Every time you update it, get you a brand new memory card. Get a plastic bag, write the date on it, write the upgrade number. I'm trying
yes.
The reference number. Always save that, and when you do the new update, if there's a glitch or something on it, you can always go back with the other card to
Yes.
the old number, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
We
But
did that several years ago. We had to
every
force
time I upgrade, I have a brand new memory card, and I always have a backup card just in case I can go back to it.
There you go. Yeah, you're running Humminbird units and Garmin Life Code, right? Philip was asking right there.
Yes. And the Humminbirds I just use for mapping and side imaging pretty much.
Same as I. That's pretty much standard with all of us. You know, that Shallow runs all Garmin's. But I heard some stuff that new Humminbird, the new versions have is pretty good. I don't know which one it is, but the newest, their Life Code version, whatever it's called.
Well, and for some of the guys out there that may not know this, so Humminbird is not making the Helixes anymore.
That's right. I did say that.
They're still going to make like the 5 and 7 inch because of the contracts they have with some of these boat companies and putting them on the newer boats. So you're not going to be able to get a Helix probably after the first of the year. They're going to be gone. So it's going to be Solix or Apex or Explorer, and you're going to have to spend a lot more money. And I think that's a lot of the reason some of these people are going to, all Garmin, is because the Garmin units are a little bit cheaper than the Humminbird units, the new ones anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen, what is the new one called? I forget what it's called.
The Explorer.
There it is, Explorer. That's it.
Yeah. Then the one they just came out with, it seemed like last year, was the Apex.
Yes.
Then the Solix is below that.
True.
And I'm not a touchscreen guy. I don't care what unit it is, whether it's Garmin or whether it's Humminbird or whatever. I hate touchscreens. And I think nowadays that's about the only thing you can get with Humminbird is touchscreen.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I've seriously contemplated when I get to that point when I upgrade, I'm probably going to go all Garmin myself.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough of that GT56 on Shiloh's boat to sell me on that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I've seen enough of it. So if you order a new boat nowadays, guys, you can go all Garmin and not have to worry about it at all. Let's see. Mark's saying, Shane, what unit did you run before the 8600 series? Did the 8600 series make a big difference? Oh, yeah. Man, I started out with a 93 SV, then I bought a 106 SV, then I bought a 1222, and then I carried a guy fishing, Bubba Hansen. He's like, hey, I got a guy that can get you an 8616 through Marina. Got a real good deal on it. Bring out 8616 right on here. But now you can get a 1643. Same resolution, don't have all the ocean maps. So, and it save you, $1,500. So, but that 8600 series, the processor, it's clear, man. I'll go and tell you that. It is clear. It is clear. But if you can do it, hey, buy the 1643. Great unit.
Yeah. People ask me all the time. Now I still run a 1222 myself, and I'm happy.
That is that's a Toyota 4-wheel drive of unit.
Yeah.
I don't know what nobody said.
A lot of that is because, that knob will do everything for you. But people ask me all the time, what would I buy? What would I buy? Buy what you can afford. If you can afford a 8600, buy one by all means.
Amen, buddy. Spend it.
Yeah.
Can't take it with you. Can't take it with you at all. But hey. Yeah.
Don't be like us, like you just said, going from a 93 to a 106.
I named it all the way around the board. I should have said my money bought a 1222.
Yeah. I've done the same thing.
Like I said, it is just like a Toyota Tacoma. It'll get you A to B. Is it an Escalade? No, but it will get you. It'll get you all over fish, catch plenty of fish. So, I mean, like it's Sonny saying right there, I wish they made a 1622. Me too, buddy. I wish they made a dang manual 16-inch screen. That would be bad, boy.
I would have one if they did.
Yeah, and they may one day. I don't think they realize what the need for it, but I want to thank our sponsors because I forgot to play the video. We got Gerber Collision. Rayco Industrial, Alpha Plumbing, Power Brakes, the Piggly Wiggly, Ace Hardware, McCalla, Hueytown, On Call Heating and Air, and Andalusia Marine. I appreciate all of them. I meant to play the video. I didn't. I got fired up ready to do the show. But I tried to write them down, make sure we thank all them guys, because they really, you know, if you get a chance to use any of them fellas, they support us. We support them 100%. So, but man, like these units, you can, the best thing to do, man, and Mark, is I tell people this all the time. Call Ryan, myself, John, anybody that's spend that money that's already bought them. We'll give you our opinion. We'll tell you why and why not, because we've already spent that money. You know, I don't know how many poles they go on the side of the boat are laying in the trash now because they thought that was going to be the easy thing to do instead of putting on your trolling motor. And then they go with somebody that has it on the trolling motor. Then they're like, there went my pole, because they're going to take it off. They could have saved that $250, $300. Now they're running on the trolling motor. You know, we're not trying to say we know it all and all that, but we've been there, done that on a lot of this stuff, or some of our friends have. So,
You know, it all depends, you know, on what you're going to be doing, whether you're guiding or whether you're tournament fishing or whether you're just fun fishing. I want my hands on my fishing pole.
me too.
I don't want it out here moving that transducer around. So
Well,
it's all in what you want and what you're going to do with it.
The boat moves, you move. Fish moves, you move. The boat moves, you're just. I mean, you don't have enough hands. And I ain't saying, hey, you take a boat and anchor it. You know, yeah, you can do it, but there's so many poles in the junkyard. My neighbor bought one. He said, "Look what I got." I was like, "That's nice, Jimbo." And hey, he went with me to Mitchell. We caught a bunch of fish. He said, "Damn it, I got to take that pole off." I was like, you should have called me.
Even with your spot lock, I mean, you're still going to move.
That thing
and you still got to adjust it.
Like I said, if you had a pontoon and you were night fishing, or you would lock down anchor and the boat wasn't moving, oh, by all means, hey, turn that off. But hey, as much as I'm moving, heck no. I have a hard time holding my boat still with 3 trolling motors, 2 in the back and 1 in the front, much less one and trying to move a pole, you know.
You know, since we're talking about this, I got to share this story. So, of course, everybody knows Wally had his big tournament on Logan year before last.
Right.
So, and I was the camera boat for the tournament since I couldn't fish it. So, Caps and Coleman, there's those names don't need any explanation. So we pull up beside their boat. The camera guy jumps over in the boat, and I'm sitting there watching. Well, Caps and Coleman has got a double seat at the front of their boat, and they got 3 trolling motors. They had a trolling motor that controlled the boat, and they had 2 trolling motors without heads on them that were nothing but they used for their live scope. They had independent live scopes.
Yeah.
And the foot control was actually mounted on a bracket up underneath their seat, and they used their hand to control the foot pedal for their own live scope.
Wow.
And I thought that was just the neatest thing. I mean, the ingenuity that those guys had to do that. And you know, obviously them guys are, I don't know how many national champions they've won,
10,
but
9 or 10 times. It was way up there. So.
Yeah, but you know, they didn't do any good in that tournament, but obviously, you know, they've got the experience and the know-how, and just to watch those guys and fish totally separate directions at the same time was unbelievable.
Well, you know, like some people running one on perspective like that, and then one, you know, on forward mode, and they're finding schools of fish or brush piles and running to it. You know, I think Derek and him use that live sweep, you know, and then one of them's on the trolling motor looking. So, I mean, hey, whatever you know, to me, it just get good at identifying structure out there at 100 foot with that thing, and knowing when you get a return, say, hey man, that looks like a brush pile. Hey, that looks like standing timber. I'm gonna run towards it. You know, to me, it just spending time behind the trolling motor. You cannot make that up. You can't buy it. You can't. The time on the water. We've been preaching that since day one. You cannot mimic that nowhere. The more time you spend on the water, the better you're going to get as long as you pay attention. You know, you'll know what to do and not to do with a fish, and you'll know what to look for when you're fishing. I mean, that's just it in a nutshell. I mean, to me, that's what, when they pay Ryan or guys pay me to go guide tripping, they're trying to gain a little bit of your knowledge that you've learned in several years and they're cramming into a trip, especially if they're trying to go forward in live scope. You know, if they're trying to catch fish, obviously not. But if they're trying to, hey, what are you doing? Okay, you're walking that bait down. Okay, I see. If they're mentally taking notes and trying to learn what you're doing with that bait, why you're doing it, you know, what you're looking for, and that's what they're getting the money's worth for. You can't control the fish. They want to know what your approach is, why you're doing that, and that's what they pay you money for.
You can learn something from everybody. You know, I mean,
100%,
you know,
100%.
Shane, you know, me and Shane, you know, a lot of people may not know, we come from the same background. I don't know how many times you paid Eric to go fishing, and so did I.
3 or 4.
And I paid him more than that. And
hey, John did the same thing. This is back in 2020, 19 or 20. Hey, me and Shane Welch went out with him, and I seen it. We went to Jordan, we went to Mitchell, and I was like, I seen enough, you know. And I went with him, and like I said, I paid just as like everybody else did us. And then I adapted to the shallow water with it, you know, especially in the Demopolis, and I made myself learn how to use it. So
you know, if you can afford to pay 10 different guides, I mean, you're going to learn the good and the bad from every one of them.
100%. It's just like no different than guitar lessons, no different than going to school. It's no different. I paid Eric. He paid Eric. John went out with Eric several times. I mean, Eric was kind of the revolution of this casting the fish. I mean, he started it all. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, he did.
You know, the first time I ever met John, he was on a guide trip with Eric on Lake Mitchell.
There you go.
But that was back whenever he was called, what was it? His Facebook name, what was it? Hookfin or something?
Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer. That's what hey. But hey, we've taken that knowledge and just grown with it, and that's the same thing, you know. We're not any different. Like I said, we got ahead of the game too. Don't let anybody fool you. And we all admitting that right now on live. So, but you know, Eric won that national championship doing that, and people said, "Oh, whoa, hold on." You know, he knows what's going on. You know, he has spent enough time with that thing, knowing what to do with that jig. You know, that guy.
Hey, and you know, I mentioned on the show last time I was on. You know, I went with Ray Morris here a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he taught me something that I'd never seen.
Oh, he fishes fast now.
Oh, and he was cranking that sucker now, and I was just absolutely amazed that, you know, and you can't out crank a crappie. If he wants to eat it, he's going to eat it.
100%.
But I had never seen anybody crank that fast.
That's good. Let's get off here, Ryan. Thank you for doing the show with me since John, you know, lost power and stuff down there. He lost his internet, so he's out in the middle of Okeechobee. So he reached out to Ryan and he texted me, said, hey, he went out in the middle of the lake and said, hey, Ryan's going to jump on there with you. And Ryan always saves us, keeps me from talking to myself for a damn hour. So I appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you. Thank all the sponsors, man. How y'all get a chance to go visit the Piggly Wiggly in your area, especially in McCall and Hueytown, Ace Hardware. I go in there and get pork chops and get me a bolt for my boat that I've knocked out the same trip. So appreciate y'all. We'll be live next week. We're going to have some fishing reports. I'm going fishing this weekend. So I'll be able to tell you, did I do it with a crap or didn't do it with a crap? I'll tell you how I caught them. You see some pictures, you'll know we caught them. So,
hey, happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. It's coming up. We'll be back next week. John will be back. We'll discuss all kinds of stuff. And we'll get into how we caught them and everything, because it's summertime now, guys. It's June. It's getting hot. So y'all be careful. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Father's Day, all you dads out there, man. Appreciate all y'all support. This whole thing's been doing great. Thank you, all the new sponsors and the sponsors we've had since day one. We'll see you. Appreciate you. See y'all next